welcome to a video. Okay, so first off, I'm still reading Stay and Fight by Madeline Fitch and really liking it. I'm reading this with Andrea. It's really fun because Andrea's really smart and is bringing a lot of insight. Specifically, there's there's these people who are living on this land with no money. It switches perspectives between all of them, and they all have just really heated opinions of each other. And so you're kind of empathizing with each one as it's their narrative, but when they're not their narrative, they're like, wow, that person sucks, you know? So that's very interesting. There's also a part, their house is getting taken over by black rat snakes, and Andrea just told me that there's this Lakota prophecy kind of thing about the black snake coming to their land and destroying their land. And apparently the Lakota people call the pipeline the black snake, and their house is built right next, or the land that they're on is built right next to a pipeline. So I'm just really glad that I had Andrea's insight for that, because I would have totally missed that. But I think this is really well written. It's one of those books with unlikable characters and a really unfortunate situation, and nothing about this so far is good and happy, but it still draws me in. I'm sucked into the drama, but also just the situation. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm on chapter 5. It's this weekend. Well, starting in an hour, I have my last of the 4 poetry workshops with Andrea Gibson and Megan Falley. So I thought I would just finish my weekend off with a little poetry challenge. So I thought that, okay, so this video was recommended to me on YouTube by Jen Campbell, where she writes 100 poems in 48 hours. And that's absolutely ludicrous. I'm not going to write 100 poems. I'm going to write, I was thinking 50, but I feel like 50 is too much too. I'm going to write 20, which is still a shit ton of poems to write in 48 hours. I'm obviously not going to write the final drafts of any poems, and some of them might just be getting an idea down for a poem. Plus I write much longer poems usually than what Jen Campbell writes, so I think that this is I think this is fair. I'm going to start it off in an hour at 11 o'clock. Today's Saturday. I'm going to start it off at 11 o'clock with the poetry workshop. And then I'm going to try my darndest to write the rest of the weekend, while of course also taking care of Otto and maybe reading, hopefully.
When you're reading any poem out loud, and I get that this one is a little bit different as you're going to be doing it even more conversationally than you would.
Okay, hello. So I wrote the start of 3 poems in my class, but I do want to, oh my gosh, what? I do want to edit at least one of them to turn into the Google Classroom, and then I get feedback from Andrea Gibson. Anyway, that was a really good class. Let me tell you some of the, I'm thinking about doing Megan Falley's workshop that's coming up, starts in April. But I also want to do this training, this birth doula training in April. So one is significantly more expensive than the other, but it's what do I want to focus my energy on, you know? And I don't know. Someone asked what makes a poem a poem. And Megan Falley talked about having a 50-50 mix of clouds and anchors, a mix of that fluffy metaphorical stuff with things that anchor you back into reality. And I thought that was really interesting. And the idea of mixing poetry with prose, and how like Ocean Vuong's book on Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, like creates like a new genre from that of like a book that is poetry, but it's like a long memoir, right? I hear you. Anyway, I have some thoughts right now about booktube popularity and clickiness. That's just making me feel weird. So I might talk about that later, but I'm gonna process it for a while. Anyway, I'm gonna keep writing poems and I'm gonna eat my leftover tacos. Hey, hello. We're gonna do a quick seed haul. So I ordered these seeds from Baker Creek Farm, which is where Jess from Refuge Roots, I think is her channel name, orders a lot of her seeds, and that's what I've been watching lately for a lot of like gardening inspiration. So the website for Baker Creek Farms is like rareseeds.com. So they have a bunch of different varieties of plants that you don't normally see. But some of these I need to plant like in the ground soon because they're like pre-frost. Everything else I'm going to start from seed today. And I'll show you like what I have because it's just an accumulation of many random things. So here we go. We have baby corn. We have a sugar baby watermelon. These are stuck together. Snow peas. Golden beets. Ruby Queen red beets. Dwarf Siberian kale. This is one I need to plant in the ground soon, as well as purple cauliflower and broccoli. Then I have some golden honeymoon melon, some Aunt Molly's ground cherries, some Ford Hook zucchini, some golden zucchini, and a bunch of tomatoes. So we have the Bonnie Best, the black cherry, the Chadwick cherry, the orange peach, which is like apparently a little sweeter and a little fuzzier. And then when you order from Baker Creek, they send you a free seed packet. So they sent me yellow pear tomatoes as well. I have a bell pepper, some giant spinach, Mexican sour gherkin cucumbers, some lettuce, some Swiss chard, a cantaloupe style melon, and then I picked up these at the farm store the other day because Cody thought I didn't have enough peppers, so I got jalapeno and a banana pepper, which I'm kind of actually scared to grow the peppers because I don't know if I have enough light. I think I definitely have enough warmth with the wood stove, but I don't know if I have enough light. But I do have some grow lights, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, this is a massive project and I need to get on my shit. So I'm going to garden for a little bit. Maybe some poetry inspiration will come to me. I basically just need to fill a bunch of stuff with soil and do some planting. But yeah, that's my update for right now. Hello. I wrote 6 poems yesterday, which means I have like 24 hours to write 14. So that's not great, but that's okay. I am still listening to Braiding Sweetgrass as I like do my gardening and stuff, but I got most of the seeds planted that I want to plant right now. I I think we might till the garden area, and I'm gonna direct sow some seeds that are like frost hardy. So that might happen today. We might also take a little sauna session, because I haven't been in the sauna since we've lived here. There is an outdoor sauna, but I haven't been in it because I was pregnant, and now we've just had a baby, so we just haven't had time. But our resident babysitter is here this weekend, so she might watch the babe while we go take a steam. I'm having a weird day. It's only 11 o'clock, and I haven't gotten out of bed, but I'm having a weird, like, self-conscious day. I just feel, I get kind of thrown off when I just see this, like, weird thing happening. That happens, like, everywhere, that there's a lot of people in one group, or, like, one interest, right? Like, I used to work at this really big climbing gym in Seattle, and people would just, the thing that happens is it starts to feel like high school, and it gets really cliquey, and that makes me feel so fucking gross. But and I know that people have talked about this on BookTube, and like this is a thing that happens on BookTube, but I'm just like really seeing it, and seeing like all of these cliques develop. And like, I think it's fine if you're like, you know, these people like read the same like niche things, and I definitely have like people here that I'm closer with that I talk to more often, or like talk about more often. I think that's totally fair, but I think what's weird about like the clickiness is the like ignoring people that don't have a lot of subscribers, or like yeah, I don't know how to talk about it, but it just makes me feel weird. So then I was like going down this rabbit hole of like stressing out about like my views, and my views compared to my subscriber count and things like that. It's just like, that's so unhealthy. And I also don't give a fuck. Like, in the grand scheme of things, I don't give a fuck, but why do I give a fuck, you know? So I'm trying to, and I've kind of been doing this month, is just like only making videos that I want to make. A part of me wants to do like a little challenge of like what would happen in a month if I only posted like the most popular viewed videos, you know, like the anti-TBR tag, or like, I don't even know what else is popular, but sometimes I think about that. I also think like I'm definitely gonna continue to read the books that I want to read, but I do think that I'm getting more interested in literary fiction because I've been watching more booktubers who read literary fiction, and I kind of feel like there's just more interesting conversations happening in the literary fiction world. So, is that a thing? I don't know. I feel like when I started BookTube, like the only people that I saw were just reading like YA and fantasy, and I like YA. I think I'm moving out of YA pretty rapidly, and I like fantasy. But damn, do I like literary fiction. It's having this whole crisis, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a digital vision board, and I'm gonna have it as my phone's screensaver. And I'm just gonna focus on things that I actually want to achieve, and stop getting caught up in like weird analytic bullshit. As always, my poems are not edited yet. This is all the rough draft stages, but I'll read you. I actually wrote like a kind of long poem, so I haven't read it over yet. Like, this is very raw, but I'll read it to you. It's called Expose Yourself to Those Secretly Watching. That was kind of the prompts as well, but anyway. Here I am. My chest leaks liquid sentiment. I tried, I will try. Sustaining another life sometimes means I forget my own. There is darkness pumping this white milk from my chest on lease. I can't wait to return it to the hospital room, nipples and all. My doctor says, well, you already heard. She says I can start hormones in 10 months, when I am an independent country, tethered only by love and entreaties. That I will continue to grow my child's food, my hormones read my texts, continuing to overcharge my system with what makes me bleed Jupiter's storm. I stare at my great red spot, knowing what this could mean if I don't choose a new birth control method. Do you see my bathroom trash can filled with hidden messages, notes passed under the desk by popularity? Do you know how much time I spend scrubbing the thick material? Cover me up, but keep it breathable. Do you see how I don't cry, until oceans have evolved new organisms inside these rusted ducts? I leave my curtains open for you to watch the flood. If I asked you to build a boat, would you gather the animals 4 by 4 because even meerkats deserve dinner parties and the option of polyamory? While you're watching, check my internet history. My baby's poop is green, easy as seeds to grow in Oregon. Whose land do I occupy? Whose body was I born into, and are they missing it? When will my chest stop fucking leaking? Hey. Wow, I just saw some fresh scat on the trail. I think it was a bobcat. It wasn't quite big enough to be cougar, hopefully. Maybe I'll see a bobcat. That'd be great. This forest has been so changed from the ice storm. There's just down trees and limbs everywhere. Like, sticks are the new forest floor. I mean, there always were a lot of sticks, but they're like a lot of sticks. You can see just where trees are down. See, like, I don't know, just when you look around, it's everywhere. So anyway, to kind of piggyback off of what I was talking about earlier, I think that I really want to prioritize, well, one of my goals, like book goals, I don't remember what my booktube goals were, honestly, but one of my book goals was to, like, only read shit that I actually want to read. And I think I'm doing that pretty well. And also not taking it so seriously. I didn't give myself very much room for mood reading this month, but also at the same time I feel like creating a big TBR actually just allows me to essentially mood read my TBR. Yep, you know, like my bigger TBR. So it's not that bad, but I have been wanting to read these graphic novels, but I keep like telling myself I need to save them for like a video or save them for when they're on my monthly TBR. But I think I just want to read them. So I might do that. Anyway, I've written 7 poems. And should I just try to like write a verbal poem right now? Oh, check this out. Smashed. Okay. I'm not good at freestyling, but why not? There's something about the way these trees snap that remind me of missed opportunities. Like the way they fall could have been in any direction, yet the elements chose for them. There's a brittle bias to the way these things happen. And I think of all of the things in my life that could happen, that have happened, that won't happen. And I can wait. I can reflect. I can sit on softness. Here I am. With nothing more to do. Because tasks are contrived. The idea of individualism is obsolete. It's getting me nowhere. That collection and collectiveness is the only real opportunity. That poem's about communism. TMI, but I almost just shit in the sauna. Never eat Burgerville before you go in the sauna. I think I'm gonna take my notebook and try to write one of my poems inside the sauna. Hey. So, it's been a little over 48 hours and I only have 12 poems written, but that's fine. We're just gonna change title of this to 20 poems in like 48 hours. We're just chilling today. I just want to show the vlog what I discovered about my shirt. So I'm wearing these overalls. Check it out. Overall straps on straps. Tell me if this is intentional or if I just made a brilliant discovery. Genuinely cannot believe it, but I did it. Okay, it is quite longer than 48 hours, but we're just gonna pretend, no one has to know. All right, I wrote 20 poems in like 48 hours. Sorry I didn't like show you more of the writing process or anything. I will say when I got to the 13th poem, I was like strapped for ideas. I just had no idea what to write anymore. And so I started scrolling through Spotify and just finding song titles that I liked and working those song titles into whatever I was writing while I was listening to that song. And that honestly was such an amazing idea because I got some really interesting poems written that I would have never thought to write on my own. So I'm gonna leave a playlist down below of all of the songs that inspired these last 7 poems, and yeah, maybe you can also go and write some poems based on those songs, and I would love to read them or hear them at some point. Okay. Do I want to read you? Sure. I'll read you 3 poems that I wrote. Okay. Again, rough drafts. Take what you will from this. Alright. So, my 13th poem was based on a song called We've Been Inside for Too Long by Kyson. I wonder if this poem was inspired by the pandemic, but or if this song was inspired by the pandemic, but this song, you get what I'm trying to say, okay? And I do think I might add on to this later, but alright. March 2020. The date marked on our surfaces like counting rings on a tree stump, still growing but seemingly non-alive. I found out I was pregnant in March 2020. Tried to find meaning in it, tearing it apart like scenes in Macbeth for 9th grade English. We've been inside for too long. The year the world stopped holding back on us, the smoke from the wildfires made the sky a dreamsicle. I waited for it to be sweet. The baby refused to be born in 2020. I can't blame them for holding my fear like a lifeline, breathing it in through the umbilical cord. Okay. This one is a little bit less intense. This was based on the song When You're Ready by Tadashi. When you're ready, I will close my eyes and kiss your feet, toe hairs flossing my teeth. I'll tell the dentist I don't need bubblegum flavor anymore. When you're ready, I will hold your kneecaps in my palms like flowers newly opened to the lightness that frosts your halo eyes. When you're ready, I will pour milk into your back dimples, take a Lactaid, and suck it out like a feline. When you're ready, I will melt my hands over your bedhead and tell you all the things I am reminded of. Eating strawberry greens, feeding the dogs hard noodles, carving a pumpkin. When you're ready, I will flood you with softness. Get ready, I will remind you to have everything you deserve. And then I'll read you one more. Let me get close. Because this one is read like a whisper. Some ASMR. Okay. Watching you breathe. Your moving belly a whisper. I run your curls through my aging fingers, amazed at your tenderness. What do you dream of? Your big bang over and over. The first time you saw light dance into you like fireflies. Alright, that's all I got for you folks. I hope you enjoyed this vlog and this experience. I would love to see some more poetry vlogs out there. I'm just trying to make what I want to see, you know, so I would also love to see it that's not myself. Anyway, I know a lot of you are poets. I know that. So, make a poetry vlog, do a challenge. Either 7 poems in 7 days or 20 poems in 48 hours ish, or whatever challenge you want. I challenge you. If you're a poet watching this, I challenge you. Also, I actually did find out a couple things from my workshop on Saturday. One is that Megan Falley, who is Andrea Gibson's partner, is hosting a workshop in April, and it's called Poems That Suck, Poems That Don't Suck, Poems That Don't Suck. And it's all about the editing process, so I'm hoping to take that as well. It's nice because I've been able to pay for my last workshop and this workshop with my Patreon dollars. So if you are interested in supporting me as a poet, go support me on Patreon, because I'm using it as like professional development for myself, you know? Anyway, also, April is apparently National Poetry Writing Month, NaPoWriMo. So I participated in NaNoWriMo in November, so I might as well participate in NaPoWriMo, where I think everyone tries to write one poem a day. And I'm thinking I might chronicle that on Instagram. I don't know. I don't really like having Instagram on my phone, and I don't use it very often, but I might do that. Anyway, if you're interested in seeing that or participating in that as well, let me know. And those are all the updates for you. Oh, I'm still reading. I'm still reading Stay and Fight. I feel like I've been reading that for 2 vlogs now without finishing it. I think everyone's in a early March reading slump. I'm hoping that it'll fade, but I think we're probably all just experiencing a lot of trauma, you know, or like resurfacing of trauma from last March. It's so wild. Like, I don't know if any of you have like a day where like someone close to you died, or which is probably like something really intense happened, and on that day you're like, I can't do shit. I think that's what we're all experiencing in March. Yeah, so that's why the reading slump is hard. It's not that like I am enjoying what I'm reading. It's a heavy book. Like, it's pretty sad, and there is truly a lot of tension and a lot of fighting, but it's really good. I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm gonna end this now. Thanks for hanging out. If you made it this far, leave me a little sprout emoji. Okay, goodbye.